The Pentagon is making a major investment in the skilled trades workforce, awarding $10 million to the Mike Rowe Works Foundation with the goal of getting more young Americans trained to help build and repair ships, aircraft, and munitions. To tell us what he's going to do with that check is the founder of the Mike Rowe Works Foundation, Mike Rowe. Mike, I think the most obvious question here. How'd you talk the Pentagon into giving you $10 million?
Well, it only took 15 years. I went to Congress literally 15 years ago. I testified before a House committee and then in front of the Senate as well on behalf of my own foundation, Mike Rowe Works, just to talk about the need to close the skills gap and make a more persuasive case for a bunch of great jobs that didn't require a 4-year degree that nobody seemed to want. Flash forward 15 years, turns out these are AI-proof 6-figure jobs that we're talking about. And hundreds of thousands of them exist within the DIB, the Defense Industrial Base. So the short version is the feds have quite rightly come to the conclusion that we've got a skills gap that is not only affecting the population at large, it's impacting our national security. We're looking for the next generation of submarine builders and shipbuilders and people who can work on sophisticated weapon systems. They gave me the money to help train them, but they're also investing hundreds of millions of dollars into this effort. It is a giant attempt to reinvigorate the trades through a program called buildfreedom.us. So the headline is the jobs are on that website, buildfreedom.us. The money is there as well, brings you back to my website. And it's not just 10 million. We got a lot more than that. It is burning a hole in my pocket, and I am anxious to deploy some of it to help train the next generation of skilled workers.
And I think when a lot of people watching this think of the modern defense industrial base, they think of stealth fighters and hypersonic missiles, stuff that incorporates more and more AI. But the training program here is for military jobs that are AI-proof. Where are you going to find all the people to fill these jobs?
It's not even military jobs, Peter. It's jobs within the industrial base. So any of the primes, I mean, Lockheed Martin and General Dynamics and Morton Thiokol, these guys are all hiring all the time for the skilled trades. But now there's a whole other level. You get down into like Anduril and Palantir and Mach Industries and Hadrian and Apex. There's so many companies that are consequential to the future of the country. Some lean into AI more than others, but in the end, they're all looking for that guy. They're looking for people who have mastered a skill that's in demand and are ready to go to work. And the opportunities are incredible for electricians in particular. Today, we've just never seen the like of it. So yeah, things are disruptive broadly, but in the skilled trades, I've never seen opportunity or security at this level.
And it's great, and we're excited to follow along. I do want to ask you about this crazy stat that we found that came out this week. The number of adults who are not in the labor force surged to an all-time high, 105 million people not working. That is more than during the Great Recession or COVID. What is going on here?
Couple things, and obviously I'm not an expert. Nick Eberstadt's the guy you want to talk to. He wrote the book Men Without Work, and nobody has a better understanding of the workforce participation rate. They're called NILFs, right? The number of people, whatever it stands for, something clean.
Not in labor force, NILF.
Exactly. So that number is big right now because the boomers are retiring in record numbers. It also includes, students and retirees. But within that number, like the really troubling number is 7 million. That's the number of able-bodied men in prime working age who are not only not working, but they're not looking for work. And that's really never happened in our country, not in peacetime anyway. And I guess you could argue whether or not this is peacetime, but we have an extraordinary number of men and women, but mostly men, who have just opted out. And part of the program that I'm working in now is to make an appeal to them. I mean, you can lead a horse to water, right? You can't make them drink. But this idea that the opportunities don't exist, this idea that the opportunities are not aspirational, not good, not consequential, that's just crazy. So we spend a lot of time debunking the myths and misperceptions that keep people from looking at these jobs. and at the same time, just make the most persuasive case we can for the work. So, look, here's the other number that'll freak you out. 5 retire, 2 replace them. That's the trade ratio every year. 5 out, 2 in. That's not sustainable.
No.
The feds know it. Every CEO in the C-suite right now understands it. They're all focused on this topic. And, you know, I'm delighted to have a seat at the grown-up table.
What you're talking about, especially the 5 retiring and 2 replacing, this is going to be like the undercurrent of the midterms, right? There's this insurgent part of the left wing that is tapping into an angsty economic base. And this is the kind of thing that they are worried about. And so, Mike Rowe, nobody better to talk to about this stuff. Thank you for giving us part of your Sunday, and we will talk to you soon.
Anytime, say hey to the old man.
I will. He's watching.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.